Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we're doing episode 13 of Hot and Cold. This is a series I like to do where I pick out the best, known as the hot, the worst, known as the cold, and the middle-of-the-road tracks that have been released over the past week. Specifically for this upload, we'll be looking at songs put out between September 9th and September 15th, 2018. As per usual, the songs will be linked down in the description, and if you would like to recommend a song that I missed out on, feel free to hit me up. Before getting into it, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Elle King. Her new song is called Good Thing Gone. This artist is known for that song X's and O's back in 2015, but this new one here came out on September 6th. I found it too late to put it in the last episode of Hot and Cold. But yeah, this new tune, it's in 6/8 time signature. It's drenched in this Americana sound from like the 1950s and 60s. It takes a lot of influence from Otis Redding. But yeah, great song. New album coming out on October 19th. It's called Shake the Spirit. Going into the hot tracks now, we have the diss track from Eminem called Kill Shot. This is a funny response to Machine Gun Kelly's diss track Rap Devil. And entertainment-wise, I think it's great. The feud between these two artists isn't even worth it at this point. Really all started because of Machine Gun Kelly's call out to Eminem's daughter saying that she's hot way back in 2012. But yeah, this new song from Eminem called Kill Shot, some of my favorite lines from it are the following. There's one line about Eminem wanting to be 80-year-old him instead of 20-year-old Machine Gun Kelly. There's another line about Eminem calling out Machine Gun Kelly for never making it on a list beside Biggie, Jay, Tay, or Iggy Ho. You about to blow. That one was really comical. And then there's another line about young Gerald being balls deep in Halsey. Halsey being the ex-girlfriend to MGK. And the last great line from the song is Eminem referring to popping champagne to celebrate the height of Machine Gun Kelly's career. He's really spot on with that. He's honestly making Machine Gun Kelly the most relevant and the trendiest that he's been in his entire career just because of this diss track. And there's a bit of a disclaimer to all this praise that I'm giving Eminem. I'm not saying that he's perfect. No, he's really riding off success from years past. But in terms of the number of cruel bars and the witty lyricism, he outnumbers and outperforms Machine Gun Kelly's Rap Devil, just because Machine Gun Kelly insults Eminem with all the same disses that other haters use, being that Eminem is old and he can't do it anymore. Everyone who dislikes Eminem at this point just uses that as part of their argument, and because of that, I think MGK isn't really bringing anything new to the discussion. Elsewhere, last week we have First Aid Kit putting out an EP as a follow-up to their fourth studio album, Ruins, which came out earlier this year. This new EP is a collection of unreleased songs that didn't make the cut for that record, and one of them is called All That We Get, and this one really caught my attention for its delightful guitar and vocals. Another hot track that came out last week comes from the Long Beach, California hard rock band Rival Sons. This one's called Do Your Worst. This band came onto the scene earlier this decade with rock radio hits like Pressure and Time and Keep on Swinging. They really emulate the best bands from the 60s and 70s like Led Zeppelin, the Allman Brothers Band, The Who, and a lot of the Rival Sons' earlier discography is like being transported back 40 or 50 years of time, like you're standing around a record store looking to pick out some great rock vinyl from the bargain bins. I was starting to get worried with the Rival Sons based on their last album, but thankfully this new single, Do Your Worst, feels like a return to form for the band, as they have some passionate vocals on this new single. There's some distorted and gritty guitar riffs in there, and forceful cymbal crashes and hard-hitting backbeats on the snare. Really slick guitar solo in there too. There's no really playing around with this song in terms of the hook or the commercial feel of the production. It just feels like a more natural jam-out session for the group, and the raw and emotive performance is felt through each of the band members in the recording. Personally, for myself, I feel like it's a definite improvement over a lot of the cuts from Hollow Bones, which was the band's previous record that felt very safe and lifeless. But if the band keeps up this raw and emotional direction for a new album, it would be nice to see them make it on to rock radio again and turn some people's heads while doing it. Moving on from there, we have Wake Up in the Sky by Bruno Mars, Gucci Mane, and Kodak Black. Don't let the ugly sound of the production really scare you off this track. It grows on you with repeated listens. The technical ability of the three artists on this one, really high. The production is a little boring, but what makes this track lack in that department is really made up for with the hook. Another hot track is Setting with the Sun by the Parlor Mob. Great new track for the falsetto vocals and the guitar playing. Elsewhere, we have Lana Del Rey with her new song Mariner's Apartment Complex. Someone sound the trumpets. I actually like a Lana Del Rey song. Everything from the piano, the mellotron, the acoustic guitar. This track is beautifully encapsulating in its instrumentation. And I feel like the most surprising part of this song is the vocal harmonies and how they reminded me of something that Florence Welch would do. I mean, I've never really been won over by Lana's timbre and delivery to most tracks, but her voice enhances this gorgeous slice of dream pop. Now Until the Middle of the Road tracks, definitely not the best, not the worst either. Still something to keep on your radar. We have the new 1975 single called Sincerity is Scary. There's some interesting polyrhythms going on. We get like a swung beat on the hi-hat, some straight 4/4 on the piano and bass with some accents on the off beats. We get the vocals emphasizing the on beats. We get some glossy production, atmospheric chorus of these voices. The horns add a nice piece of like ambiance to the track. The hook itself is a little weak though. That's really what's holding me back from giving it a spot on the hot list. Elsewhere, we have the Trews. They dropped a new record last week. The standout track for me at this point is called Vintage Love. And yeah, this was their 6th studio release, and that album is called Civilianaires. This new single here has powerful vocals in the chorus from Colin McDonald. He hasn't seemed to have aged over the course of the band's career, which is always nice to hear this kind of thing based on how long this group has been together now. Altogether, Vintage Love isn't anything worth putting on a pedestal. The best of the Trews still remains in the past. But I'm still hoping that this new single, or I'm hoping it becomes a single, Vintage Love will make rock radio as one of the big singles from this new record. The American singer-songwriter, the young, dumb, and broke singing sensation, is back at it again with a single called Better. This tune is suitable for Khalid's sultry timbre. Just feels like he's missing some enthusiasm to push this track to another level in quality, though. New track was dropped by Mike Posner last week. It's called Song About You. This one really has a lot of basic lyrics. It comments on loss. That's like the lyrical topic of this song. Mike Posner said on Beats 1 that he felt a lot of pain and anger from losing his father and his friend Avicii, so he wrote this song as a cathartic release of those emotions. Ironically, though, the pain doesn't ring through. The song is kept upbeat with the thumping drums and bass that keep it rolling like a freight train. Not to say that that's a bad thing, it's just weird to hear that the lyrics are coming from such a negative and like dark space, but then the song itself sounds a little more uplifting. The song itself also sounds like Bozzy. It's best to check it out only if you're a fan of that sound. Now onto the cold tracks, and these are definitely the worst that I heard over the past week. We have Pretty Little Fears by Black featuring J. Cole. This track is just really boring, has no progression, it just stays in a rut the entire 4 minutes. We have Smashing Pumpkins putting out new material in 2018. This new single, Silvery Sometimes, open parentheses, Ghost, close parentheses. The song really just hit me with this like WTF moment. Like, how could this great 90s alternative band go down this like terrible, like lifeless path of rock music in 2018? I don't really know. I'm a fan of the longevity of bands like Green Day, Weezer, Red Hot Chili Peppers, they all seem to mix up their style every now and then, but they still keep like their core sound. But this direction for Smashing Pumpkins, it's just a sad attempt to fit in with this safe and sheltered state of rock right now. The song is definitely plagued by repetition that doesn't leave anything stick in your mind after hearing it. And to round up this week, we have one of the worst songs that I've heard this year. Look no further than Black Eyed Peas to be releasing it. It's called Big Love. It's another politically charged track to follow up 2016's abomination of Where's the Love. This time it's very clear. Black Eyed Peas do not like the American government that is in power right now. They don't like the guns, the drugs, corrupt politicians, and that's fine. All these topics are fair game. Like, they can talk about them all they want. Just the way that they do it, it's the corniest thing I've actually heard. In addition to this, the music is the lowest common denominator type of 2018 lifeless pop that you can possibly hear. The melodies try so hard to stick, but there's no substance behind them. The production is bland with the simplest chord progression on the piano, and the 808 bass is just a novelty to be thrown in there to make the track interesting. And of course it does stand out with the rest of the elements in the song that just seem to get washed out by it. Honestly, this track is so straight to the point. It's meant to rally people together, but it fails to do that. It just has me running away from this song, never wanting to hear it again. I'd rather just stick to some Bob Dylan, or If I Had a Hammer by Pete Seeger. And I recommend both of those artists there if you want some timeless classics to deal with political revolution. Or hey, if you want some newer kind of folk, try out Father John Misty. All of these artists are much deeper in their messages and don't sound like this poppy sound that is obviously the Black Eyed Peas selling out. And there we have it. There's episode 13 of Hot and Cold said and done. Now I want to hear from you. Sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Agree or disagree. I'm here to engage with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. My name is Ryan from True North Reviews. And as always, have a rockin' day. Thanks for listening.